Derek, the defeat to St Mirren out the system, or is it still lingering there?
No, it's got to be. It was a sore one for us. It's such a tough afternoon. I think, like anything, when you're on the back end of a result of that, because we're in a league where everything's normally pretty tight. The games have been pretty tight for the vast majority of the season, but when you're losing the manner in which we did, it was a sore one for us. It's all about the response, and we've had some good results at St Mirren over the years, and I think last year we were celebrating with the supporters finishing fourth and securing a European spot. It was tough for the supporters on Saturday, it was tough for us all, but we're no feeling sorry for ourselves, we're no rolling over, sucking our thumbs and thinking everything's against us. We've got a job today, and when you lose a game in that sort of manner, it's all about the response, and that's where we're at the minute. We feel as though we've had a good week. I thought we had a good week last week, so it's never really any real indication, but we gave ourselves a mountain to climb with a couple of cheap goals early on, and we never really recovered for it, so it was a tough afternoon, but we've got to make sure the response is here Saturday.
Confident the response will be there?
Aye, listen, I've worked with these players long enough, I trust the players. I think no matter what maybe people say, these boys care. It was more or less the same squad. I know we've had a few injuries, and obviously Stu coming back into things helps, but these are the boys that exceeded expectations last season, getting to fourth spot, getting to Europe. So I think they're deserving of a bit of trust, and certainly I trust how I work and how we work together with the players. We've got the benefit of being together a long time, and hopefully that helps us at this end of the season. I feel as though we've always met the expectations that was put on us at this club over a while, and this is probably the first little spell now where fingers can get pointed that we're maybe not reaching the expectations. I think you're judged against your record last season, effectively. That's what happens, that's football. You're judged against how good we were last season, and if you're judged against that, then we have come up short this season, but there's still too much to play for. We've got to now just galvanise, batten down the hatches and get on with the job in hand, and I'm fortunate in the sense we've got one or two coming back, and fortunate in the sense that the boys have been over the course before, so at this stage of the season it's important that we respond and get the desired results to make sure we look after the club, and I believe we will do that. I'm not thinking negative. I'm thinking that we jump up from last week onto this week's game, and we just try and focus. Even if we'd won last week, such an important game this week against Motherwell at home, and hopefully, as I say, we can be good enough to get the job done.
Why do you think maybe you haven't been able to match last season's almost? I
think there's a lot of reasons. I think we've had key players missing. I think we got off to a tough start. First round of games, we felt the points tally was not the same as what we'd expect for ourselves, and I think there was reasons for it. Spoke about this. I don't want to dwell too much, but European involvement, the discipline part, the early part of the season, but I'm not really caring about that now, to be honest. I've got 7 games, and it's more about what we are between now and the end of the season that's important. Listen, we trust how we work. It's worked well, in my, I think 13 years as a Premier League manager, 10 of those, St Johnstone, Kilmarnock and Aberdeen, 10 of those we finished in the top 4. We know what we're doing, and we could do, we're just getting a wee bit more confidence into the players, and a win would help that. And even Saturday, I just hope the supporters get really behind the team, because it's us against everybody else. It's important that the supporters, regardless of what team comes in, regardless of what players are playing and which aren't, we just appeal for that help, because it needs a big effort from everybody on Saturday, from a Kilmarnock persuasion, to try and help any little advantage we get over Motherwell. We can pull a few teams in towards us with a win, Motherwell being one of them, and it's important that that's exactly what we do with the response. We try and take that out in Motherwell, and we try and make sure we get the 3 points, and we'll start to feel a bit better about ourselves. And that's football. It's not always going to be easy, and when you sign up for to be a manager, you sign up for a club like Kilmarnock, you've got to expect some tough times, but you trust how we work, and that's exactly what we're going to do.
Derek, you're saying there you don't want to look at the negatives. Obviously top 6 had been the aim, but can you use it as a manager of your experience now as a positive and say, right, we're going to be at the bottom half of the table, but we're going to get 7th. We can pick up form, we could win our last 7 games and we go again next season.
I've always tried to remain positive. I think through the Christmas and New Year period, I thought top 6 was there for us. We beat Dundee United, St Johnstone here back to back a few weeks back. and we felt then that it was game on for top 6. And we took a damaging week that week away at Aberdeen, away at Ross County, and losing to Rangers here was damaging for us. And so we have now just got to look at each game as it comes. You know, Saturday's a big enough game in its own entirety, really, just to deal with the game. And if we can get a win, a confident performance, ideally take any sort of win, to be honest, but if we can get a confident performance, get everybody leaving the ground feeling good about the team again, the supporters have a big part to play in that, and the players have got to respond, then I believe that we can attack the remaining fixtures. We are going to be in the bottom 6, so out with Celtic we're going to be playing everybody that's in and around us, so it's important that we try and take the challenge that's there, meet it head on, and as you say, you know, look for positives, but the positives need to come from hopefully a winning performance Saturday.
I know you'll know this, I've been in this game for a long time, not to panic after a result like that, but how important is it to get that into the players' minds during this week? Yeah,
I thought we needed to stay calm in the game. I thought there was 1 or 2 uncharacteristic moments in the game where we kind of gave away needless possession. We got a bit excitable with challenges, we got a wee bit rushed and excited at certain instances, and I just don't really want to see that for the team. I just want to make sure that we stay calm as a team, as a group, and just try and make sure we deal with what's ahead of us. We've always dealt with everything that's came our way, and listen, it's not where I want to be. I want my team to be in the top 6. I want us to be fighting for Europe, but the reality is we've not been good enough. We've not done our jobs well enough to be that team, but we can still do our jobs well enough to be the best the rest of in the bottom 6. To do that, we need to start reining teams in above us, and we're only really looking at that, to be honest. And it's important that we try and recognise where we are, but also equally everybody's got a part to play to help us finish the season strong. And the time for real reflection is at the end of the season. You know, I'm always asked through a season, what do you think of this and what's your expectations, but you know, the time to really reflect is at the end of the season. But at the end of the season we need to reflect and make sure we've finished the season strong and we can make those necessary adjustments for next season.
It's probably the first time in your time here that the fans kind of made their displeasure known at full time. How have you dealt with that personally?
No, I've heard it before, and listen, I get that. No Kilmarnock fan was expecting us to lose in the manner which we did, and gutted when I see the Kilmarnock end leave as quickly as they did, and I totally understand why that was. You know, I've had a lot of good times as a manager, a lot of real highlights, and it's been more good than not, but listen, I understand management, it can't always be sunshine and rainbows. You've got to make sure that you get through the tough games and the tough times, and I think this is probably the first time that we've really, I feel as though maybe people are saying that we've underachieved, and there might be some sense in that, but the time to really judge that and reflect that and make that assessment is at the end of the season.
It's obviously a really big positive that Stuart Finlay came back at the weekend. You spoke when he wasn't here, how good it would be when he came back. Do you think he's got a massive part to play for the next 7 games?
I do. Part of the reason we got him on last week was just to try get him some minutes and get him kind of more in gear really for this game. You know, obviously we've got another week's work into Stu, and he was a huge part of our strong defensive record last season. But it's not just his abilities on the pitch, it's his experience, the fact that he cares passionate about the club. He keeps coming back, and he keeps enjoying his time here, and it's probably the first serious injury he's had in a long time, so he's worked hard, he's had to be patient. We feel we're a better team with Stu in it. We're also understanding that he's not going to be pitch perfect at this moment in time, but there is a real temptation to get him back in, and get him back in amongst the squad is brilliant, because not only is he a good player, a good leadership qualities, but a very popular player amongst the lads as well, so everybody's delighted to get him back involved, and I do believe he can have a big part to play in helping us finish the season strong. There's evidence of that there. When Stu Finlay plays well and he's playing our team, results are normally better, so it's going to take more than Stu. It's going to take everybody to just kind of step up between now and the end of the season, deliver what we're capable of, and hopefully, as I say, we can get the desired outcome that we're all looking for.
Is there any updates to the squad? Is Kelvin still any closer?
So Vas got a specialist appointment on Monday, because the nature of the injury he's had, there is a kind of time restraint on it. There is patience required, which is difficult in this situation, especially for somebody like him. He's like a caged animal, he just wants to get out there and help, and obviously we're keen to get him back as well. But he got positive result. The specialist is really happy with how the ligament is healing and how the ankle is looking. He did say that it might just require another wee bit of time and a bit more patience to be pain-free and to be fully fit. But we've managed to get some work into him. He's trained again today, so hopefully there's no reaction. Then he'll certainly be fit for the post-split fixtures. If we can get him back before then, it'll be excellent for us. But feels though there's a wee bit of light at the end of the tunnel for him. McInnes is out obviously, and young Tom Wilson-Brown picked up a knock in training. Unfortunately, he's going to be out for the next few weeks after having had a scan during the week.
Then it's probably furthest from your mind at the moment, but there's a lot of talk again about reconstruction. Do you have a view on what the best way forward is? Is it status quo or?
I have got a view. I would probably just maybe want to speak to the club about that first before I want us to make sure we're singing from the same hymn sheet. So obviously there's been a bit of chatter and obviously been aware that Greg McEwen, our MD here, has told me that it's on the agenda and up for discussion. I thought that it was on the agenda to extend the league, not to make it smaller. And I think there's more of a feeling from clubs to try and find a way and a solution to extend the league. I have got my own views on it, but like I say, I'll speak to the club first. But I do think that I do like the split, I'll be honest. I think it's brought something where we can still maintain that, but still maybe give encouragement to one or two other clubs who have been out with the top flight for a long time. I think the situation we see ourselves in at the minute, where most clubs, there's hardly anything between a lot of us. We're all roughly in the same budgets. A lot of us we're all fishing in the same pond for players, and sometimes, like last season, you have a special season and everything goes for you. But in the main, there's a lot of clubs fighting, having that pressure to stay in the league because of the rewards are so vast. And equally, there's a lot of clubs try to get there out with the top flight who have got that same pressures, who could maybe do with a bit more encouragement maybe to extend the league. But my own thoughts are that a bigger league might just help alleviate some of those demands and stresses. But like I say, what that number looks like, I'll speak to the club on that.